Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back again to Vanz channel. Today I will still share and review a list of 50 Winlator emulator games for Android that you can play on Snapdragon 778g. Okay, I have to say this. All the game lists that will be showed later, and when you try the performance is not the same. The error maybe is in the configuration, in the box 64 menu or container, or the settings in the game that you have to change. You should already understand here, right? Okay, let's begin. First, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. This game can be played by all users of middle-class devices, but usually it still has to be set again in the box 64 menu in the preset section. 2. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. The third sequel of this game can also be played very smoothly at a performance that can sometimes reach 60 frames per second. 3. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. This COD game also runs quite well when played on this Snapdragon 778g. Make sure the settings are correct to run it. 4. Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight is one of the 2D games that has a fairly high level of difficulty. This game can be played with performance above 30 frames per second. 5. Just Cause. Just Cause 1 is an action game with graphics equivalent to PS2. This classic game can be played quite smoothly at medium resolution on this chipset. 6. Just Cause 2. The second sequel of this game has better performance and smoother above 30 frames per second and can reach 60. Use medium resolution to play it on Snapdragon 778g. 7. Payday the Heist. Payday the Heist is a bank-robbing game that glorifies clearly villainous acts. It contains high levels of violence. This game can run above 30 frames per second. Next, Blur. Even though this game is capable of running above 30 frames per second, you still need some additional settings in box 64 to improve its performance of this game. Next, Battlefield Bad Company 2. This is a war game that you should not miss to play on your Android device. Use medium resolution for better performance. 10. Mortal Kombat 9. Mortal Kombat 9 can obviously be played at medium resolution and using the turnip driver recommendations as shown below. Next, Inside. In some cases, sometimes you will experience some frame drops in certain locations. If you can fix it, please let us know in the comment about the settings. Next, My Friend Pedro. My Friend Pedro is a side-scrolling action game in which you kick skateboards at gangsters' heads under the guidance of a talking banana. This game runs 30 frames per second. 12. Katana Zero. Katana Zero is a 2D hack-and-slash game that is quite popular among emulator players. This game can be run with FPS performance reaching 60. Next, Far Cry 2. The second series of Far Cry requires relevant settings on your device to get better performance as in the following video. Next, Mafia 2. Mafia 2 is a game that was quite popular on the PS3 console back then. By using medium resolution and the right configuration, you can play this game very smoothly on your device. 16. The Simpsons Hit and Run. You can get the performance of this cool game up to 40 frames per second with the right settings and medium resolution. Use driver recommendation below. Next, Hitman Blood Money. The FPS performance obtained when played on Winlator is better than on the Yuzu emulator, as long as you use the right settings configuration. Next, Total Overdose. This is one of the games that is light enough for you to play on mid-range devices. You may be able to play it in HD resolution. 19. MiSide. The horror games released this year can now be played with FPS performance reaching 30 with low or medium resolution and the right settings. Next, NASCAR 15. You will often get FPS below 30, which is around 25 FPS. If you have a better configuration, please comment. This game can also run in medium resolution. Next, Driver San Francisco. This is a classic racing game that is quite exciting for you to play and can also be played very playably on this chipset device up to 40 frames per second. 22. Condemned Criminal Origins. As FBI agent Ethan Thomas, you rely on sharp instincts and sophisticated forensic tools to investigate crime scenes. Next, Metro 2033 Redux. This is one of the best survival horror action games that you should play on this Winlator. Use additional settings in the box 64 and in the container. Next, Mortal Kombat XL. Mortal Kombat XL is a MK series that is smooth enough for you to play on mid-range devices. Don't forget to set the box 64 preset settings. 25. Outlast. As you can see, Outlast is playable pretty well and its performance can reach 60 frames per second using 600p resolution on Snapdragon 778g processor. Next, DNF Duel. This lightweight fighting game can also be played with FPS performance reaching 60. You may be able to use the default settings or use additional settings. Next, Resident Evil 5. Resident Evil is the best game ever released in 2009 in my opinion. You can play this game without any problem in low resolution. 28. Halo 2. Halo 2 is an action shooter game that is quite popular among gamers. Now you can play this game with low or medium resolution. Next, Far Cry 3. This game is actually not very optimal if you are in a crowded situation, and the FPS will drop to 20. If you have better settings, please comment. Next, Resident Evil 6. When compared to the previous Resident Evil 5 series, the FPS performance in this 6 series when you play it can reach 40 if you are in a certain location. 31. Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. This best stealth kill game can be played very smoothly if you add settings in the box 64 preset menu. Next, Resident Evil 2 Remake. This is a pretty heavy game to play for Snapdragon 778g. You should use the setting references on other YouTube channels for better settings. Next, Burnout Paradise. In Yuzu or Winlator, this game is equally playable for you to play on this chipset. But Yuzu does not have a complicated configuration to set. 34. MXGP. Use Turnip Driver as suggested below and DXVK 2.41 or what you think is better. And also use low resolution. Maybe it will need some additional configuration too. Next, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered. This is one of the racing games that is quite light for you to play. Maybe we'll need some additional settings. Next, Need for Speed Underground 2. Underground 2 is a pretty popular series besides the Most Wanted series. This game already runs pretty well on this chipset. 37. Blood Rain 2 Termina Cut. This is a hack-and-slash action vampire game that has quite interesting gameplay. Use the resolution in DXVK as suggested below to run it. Next, Devil May Cry 4. Everyone also knows that this is one of the best games that is light to play on all devices. In the following gameplay, using medium resolution. Next, Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4. You can play this cool Naruto game very smoothly with FPS performance reaching 30 on this chipset. 40. Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. Don't expect too much. You can only play this game with frames per second above 25 if you use the right settings and recommended drivers. Next, Dark Souls 2. This game is also quite heavy to play. and the FPS is stable in certain conditions. If you have a recommendation for better settings, please comment. Next, Cuphead. This game is definitely very light to play on this Snapdragon 778g without any problems. This game can even be played at medium or HD resolution. 43. Alan Wake. Alan Wake is also one of the very heavy games to play on mid-range devices. In some conditions, you might be lucky to get 30 frames per second. Next, Batman Arkham City. I recommend using the box 64 preset settings. Also check some cores that you think are most suitable for your device. The cores section is in the container menu. Next, Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse. One of the Dragon Ball series that is quite popular and played by many. Just use Turnip and DXVK as I recommend below. 46. Sniper Elite 3. Sniper Elite 3 is one of my favorite war games back when I played it on PS3. With Snapdragon 778g, this game is now playable. Next, Tomb Raider 2013. This is the Tomb Raider series that won the Game of the Year award that year. The adventure is really challenging, and the game can be played quite playable on this chipset. Next, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. This unique fighting game cannot be played optimally on this chipset and only gets frames per second above 30. Use driver Turnip. 49. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Skyrim, the fifth game in the Elder Scrolls series, takes place in the province of Skyrim 200 years after the Oblivion Crisis. This game is absolutely amazing and can be played playable on Snapdragon 778g. Final list, Blades of Time. I also recommend this action game for you to play on this emulator using Snapdragon 778g. With a 480p resolution, you can play it with a fairly smooth FPS performance of around 50. Okay, that's 50 playable game list for you to play on the Winlator emulator using Snapdragon 778g. Please remember that there are some games that require additional configuration settings, such as in the box 64 preset section, in the container and in-game. To find good setting references, find them on other channels on YouTube. Okay, if you think this video is useful, please like this video and subscribe to this channel and also share it to your friends. Okay guys, see you next time. Bye.